Class, welcome to week 6. We're going to be talking about illustrating your message this week. And you just have a little bit of reading. You're going to do some reading, a chapter in Robinson. Make sure you do that. And then there are 3 Kessler videos that talk about why to illustrate and steps of stories and an illustration checklist. So watch those 3 videos. And then there's a 4th video, how to make a good video. Please watch this. And I would add a few things to that. As you're recording the illustration that you're going to do for this week, and eventually as you record your message, a couple of things. If you can do it in a church where you would normally preach, that would be good. The setting makes a difference. If you can have people, if you're preaching in front of, you're scheduled to preach in front of somebody for a ministry, that's always a great idea. But try to, if you can get into your church and do the preaching there, that's always a good thing. Watch and make sure that the video is good. I need to be able to see your facial expressions. So if it's too dark or you're too far away, I can't see those things. But also, I don't want it close up just where I can only see your face. I need to see your body and your hands and how you move and what you do and that kind of stuff, okay? The other thing is to make sure that the sound is good. So maybe record a few minutes of it. Go back, make sure that the sound recording is good. Always check that before you post a video, okay? So whether it's your illustration or it's your other, make sure that that's good. So just a couple of things to pay attention to as you work on the video for your illustration this week, and then eventually work on the recording of your message and that kind of stuff, okay? Assignments this week, 6-1, identifying illustration points. And so you're just going to be basically looking at where it is that you're going to be able to put illustrations, where they need to specifically be placed within that outline of the message that you're working on and the things that you're doing, okay? And so you're identifying illustration points for your message and working through that on 6-1. 6-2 is a sermon group evaluation. And so basically what you're going to do here is you're going to take and you're going to record an illustration that is going to be a part of your message. And this is why we said start working on it last week, because you needed to have it ready for this week. So what's the illustration? You're going to record it. You may have to record context because there are 3 questions linked to this sermon evaluation. You need to make sure that you hit all 3 of those questions. And one of those is, how does it relate to the point? So you have to somehow kind of state the point and what it's related to, and then lead into the illustration, okay? So it may not be exactly how you're going to do it in your message, but make sure that there's context for what we understand. State your passage at the beginning so that people know what passage you're preaching out of, so that they can look that up and see the illustration and that kind of stuff. So, but this is an opportunity to kind of test your recording and see how you do in front of a camera and get some feedback from other people, which is always a good thing. 6-3 is going to be illustrate the sermon. So you're going to go back to your outline. This is the sentence outline that you've put your main points in and your transitions in, and you've added applications to, and now you're going to add your illustrations to it. And so you're going to go back and add those in with everything else. And so that'll be the document that you submit for it, showing you where you're adding your illustrations in and what you're doing with those. Discussion board 6 for this week, what makes an illustration work? We've all listened to people tell stories or illustrations of something, and they were badly told or just didn't connect with the people listening. So sometimes it's in how we say it and how we convey it that it doesn't come across well. In other cases, it's that we think an illustration sounds good or looks good in the message, but it really doesn't relate to your big idea, to the main point of the message, to maybe your main point in that section of the passage. And so sometimes, because we think we need an illustration in there, we force it, and it really doesn't fit well. And so you have to be, as you're shaping a message, you have to be really intellectually honest with yourself, but also with the passage as an exegete, and say, hey, this illustration doesn't really illustrate and isn't really relevant to what's going on. And you have to say, okay, I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm going to find something else. That's hard. It is hard to find good illustrations that fit well into the passage. It means that, you're going to have to over time, maybe create a file of illustrations that you can use. You have to find a way to organize that so that you know which ones you've used and which ones you've not. You'll find different resources. You'll think about all different kinds of things. There's a mug that says anything that you say or do can be used against you as a sermon illustration if you're a member of a pastor's family. So, we look around us all the time for sermon illustrations, and you need to find ones that fit into the passage and are relevant. And so find a way to organize those so that you can kind of have access to them and you know which ones you've used and which ones you haven't. Okay? So that's discussion board 6. That is everything for this week. Like I said, the focus is on illustrations in the message and what that looks like. As always, if you have questions, please reach out. I'm here for you anytime that you need it. Also, here just to pray for you. I'm praying that God would work in you this week, that the Holy Spirit would bring to mind illustrations that as you're looking, that they would fit perfectly within your passage, they would connect well with the audience, and they would be an addition to the message rather than taking away or distracting from it, because illustrations and stories can do that, but that God would just use it in a mighty way. And so praying for you this week as you read, as you watch your videos, as you shape this, as you record this video. God bless and have a great week.